Hey guys, how are you doing today? Susanna here. I am super excited for this video because I have been seeing a few TikToks out there, although I'm not on TikTok, but you know, these little videos get around, that people create what is called the cold girl makeup look. So it pretty much is just how it sounds, creating a makeup look as if you're cold, out in the bitter cold. Sometimes the cheeks get even flushier when you go from an extremely cold climate, how it gets out here in Chicago, to a nice warm cozy climate, how it may be inside your home. So today I decided to hop on this trend and create my version of a cold girl makeup look, and this is what I came up with. I think it looks really pretty. I think it looks really wearable. If you want to look a little extra cold, you can always add some more blush. I think over the nose you can even do so. Let me actually, a little dot there. I am using a very potent blush, so oh, that's perfect. I kind of did need that, I guess. I'm using a very potent blush, so I gotta be extremely careful. You guys saw like that little minuscule amount of product that I applied on my nose there. That gave off a lot of pigment. Oh, that looks so pretty. So if you guys want to see how I created this, kind of my take on it, make sure to keep on watching. But beforehand, if you guys have not yet subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Also go ahead and hit that like button. It really does mean the world to me, and I would appreciate it. So thank you very much. So okay, anyways, let's go ahead and get into today's tutorial. I'm gonna start off with this Touche Éclat primer. It's from YSL. It's very good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and place this all over the face. So for this look, we definitely want to have a matte finish. So I am gonna use one of my favorite matte foundations, but I wanted a primer that is blurring, and I feel like this one also kind of hydrates my skin a little bit. I mean, not a ton, but it just adds a nice barrier for my foundation, especially my matte foundations. So I did a full pump of that primer, and it smells so nice. Beautiful packaging as well. And for foundation, I went ahead and picked out the Ultra Latent from Chanel. I have this one in the shade BD31. This is a foundation, I think because it is matte, that I don't use very often. And then when I do use it, I am highly impressed, especially by the end of the day, with how well everything holds up. Okay, I should probably use a mirror to see myself closer. Then if you want it to look a little bit more natural, just more light on the skin, I would recommend using a beauty blender to apply it. But with a brush, it does a pretty good job. This brush I don't think exists anymore. I've had it for many years. It's the Phase 2 from Marc Jacobs. Is Marc Jacobs, I think, is he like done with his beauty line? I know they discontinued a lot of items, but I wasn't sure if he was going to revamp or if he was just completely done coming out with makeup. But the brand had really good products, so that's a little upsetting. So I did go ahead and use most of those 2 pumps. I just kind of kept dipping and applying, but yeah, it looks good. And this isn't a foundation, although it's matte, like it doesn't look dry on the skin. It doesn't look clingy at all. It could be because of the primer. The last time that I used that foundation, I used it with that primer, and I remember really liking it, so that's why I wanted to do the same combo today. So really pretty there. And then as far as my concealer, I pulled out the ABH concealer. It's the Magic Touch. I have the shade 9. So we'll use this. And then just whatever is left on the brush, I'm gonna go over the lid. Alright, so now that that's done, I wanna grab my Raw Dial loose powder. So I like to grab some with a brush and then using the cap, just really work it into all of the bristles. And I tap off all the extra powder that I picked up there, and then I set. I'm going to use another powder for under the eyes, but I'm going to pull that one out a little bit later. So, okay, moving on. I am going to add a little bit of bronzer. It's going to be kind of a bronzer that I'll do just to add some definition, but I want to go in very, very lightly. So I pulled out the Dior Forever Natural Bronzer. This is in the shade 4, so it's this guy here. So one with the nice like cushiony packaging there. That feels really nice. This one is a little light for me. I mean, I like it because it doesn't like fully bronze up my face. It just gives a little bit of color and, like I said, like a little bit of dimension to the face. It is nice and buildable, but today we're not going to build up too much on that. And then I am lightly just going to go over kind of my brow bone with it. Just with whatever was left on the brush there. Okay, so like I said, very minimal, almost barely there bronzer. Okay, let me do my eyebrows real quick. I'm going to use my Gucci eyebrow pencil. So there are like 3 important steps to this look. It's the foundation. You do want, I mean, in order to truly create that cold girl look, you do want a foundation that's matte. If you don't like a true, just straight matte foundation, maybe a soft matte, a natural would be fine too. Just make sure to set it properly. Some people just don't like a matte look, so do it to your comfort, but you don't want your base to be too glowy. Now, aside from that, the next most important, and this is probably the most important part actually, is the blush. And with that, you want to keep in mind the color of the blush as well as the placement. So we'll do that in a little bit. And then aside from that, the third thing that you want to do are the lips. So you almost want like a bitten type of lip, almost like that ombre effect. Again, I'll show you guys how I would wear this. But aside from that, it's up to you with what you want to do with the eyes. You can leave them as is. You can add just a little sweep or veil of blush over them as you're kind of finishing up the blush application. But I have seen a few people use like a frosty shade. So that's what we're gonna do. I have this guy here that I have not used in a very long time. This was a limited edition. If I can find it somewhere, I will link it down below, but I doubt I'll be able to find it. It's called the Carte Blanche, something like that. It's still 317. I believe this was part of their holiday collection several years back. It's more considered a top coat. So this is what I'm going to do to add like that frosty look to the eyes, to the inner corner, and I'm also going to use it on Cupid's bow. But before we use that, let me go in with a little bit of eyeliner. Now, I just want this to kind of define the eyes a little bit. Just add a little something extra. You can totally skip this part, or you can create a wing eyeliner of your choice. Obviously, you're going to do whatever you want to recreate a look like this, but this is what I want to go for. So I had thought about using a gel liner, but I want my eyeliner to be kind of muted. So I am placing some on my hand there to kind of melt it in. And then with a small brush, I have this Refer number 3 brush. I'm going to pick some of that up and then apply it against my lash line. And I am going to do like a tiny little wing. Okay, so I just placed it there like that. I'm just going to clean off this brush. I have a little towel here. And now I'm going to blend. And I want to do this before I go in with the shadow, just to tone it down a little bit. And I kind of like sometimes the look of eyeliner seeping through the eyeshadow. I don't know, I just feel like it almost looks like you just didn't try that hard. And we do want this look to almost appear like oh, we're naturally this cute and cozy right now. I don't know, whatever it's done, but I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say with that. And if not, don't mind my stupid examples that I sometimes come up with. Alright, so I'm just blending this. And these eyeliners from Victoria Beckham, they're so good. They're so creamy, pigmented, long-lasting, just wonderful. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. There's not... You want to be very careful with the placement of the blush, but even that, it does not have to be perfect because we want to give that appearance of a natural, like really flushed look. Like just your cheeks are cold because it's darn cold outside. So when that happens, it doesn't, you know, usually happen nice and evenly. There is sometimes a little bit of patchiness. Obviously, we have control in this case, so we don't want it to look patchy. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be a perfected look. This is a trend that pretty much anybody can jump on. Just make it your own. Because there's a lot of variety. I know I have a ton of frosty-like shadows in my collection, but because I had not used this in a long time, and I came across it when I was organizing my makeup in here, you know, I had pulled it out so that I can hopefully use it sometime during the holidays, and I just felt like today would be a perfect time to use it. So if you have it in your collection, oh my gosh, let me know if you have it, but you can definitely use it for today's look. So I went ahead and picked some up with my finger. It's so silky. And for this, I'm gonna go ahead and place most of it right in the center of the eyes, and I like to go into and right above the crease. It just usually when I apply like glitter or shimmer, I like to go over the crease if I'm focusing it mostly on the center. And then with a clean fingers, and I'm using my middle finger, I'm gonna go ahead and just blend it towards the sides here. And then just like that. You can make this as intense as if you like, but I'm gonna keep it like this. I think that's good. And you see how I'm going over the eyeliner and then over the crease. Then also picking up a little bit more of that. You can use a highlighter. I'm just gonna go ahead and use this guy here and apply it on my Cupid's bow. And then I'm gonna let it get onto the center of my lip here as well as the bottom. Actually, I might go back and add some of this onto the lips when, or just some more of this onto my lips when after I do the lipstick. Okay, and the inner corner. I like to add some of this in the inner corner for that pop, just lightly. So using a pencil brush, dipping it in there. I don't want it too intense, just. Now, eyeliner. So you can skip this part, but I really like a bright eyeliner on the waterline. I have been wanting this one for Victoria Beckham. I finally got to pick it up. It's the shade Neutral. It's got a decent wear time. It does fade a little bit, but granted, I don't like to really pile it on because then I feel like it looks a little too intense. So I just go in and just lightly apply it. But it actually does last pretty well. It doesn't like run anywhere around my eyes, but it does fade a little bit as the day goes on. But very gracefully, and I really think it's worth it. You might want to use something a little bit whiter to really help out with that frosty eyeshadow, but for me, I think it will be too stark. So this is perfect. So now I'm gonna go in with my mascara and really pile this on. If you're into fake lashes, like some really nice like wispy lashes will look beautiful with this, or especially like the corner accent lashes, wonderful. Those are my favorite because they're really comfortable and super easy to apply. But I'm just gonna stick with my natural lashes and coat them really well with mascara. Now it's time for the blush, and I'm going to use two today. We're going to start off with the Rare Beauty Liquid Blush. I have the shade Lucky that I'll be using today. This has a dewy finish. I think it'll work fine on its own. I don't think it's going to appear that dewy on the skin where it won't work for this look. But I did end up pulling out a second blush. It is a powder, and I'll use that one to set this and just make sure everything's locked in place. Truly though, these Rare Beauty blushes last all day. They are super reliable, love them, but they are very, very pigmented. Happy is my absolute favorite blush from this line. That one is a matte finish, I believe, but I really want to use this color today, and this one is extra, extra pigmented. I have my palette here that I like to use, and I'm just going to show you guys how little I'm going to apply. So I did just a dot right there. This is going to be more than enough. So these are going to last you a lifetime. They'll last your kids and your grandkids both a lifetime. You probably don't want to keep it for that long, but I'm just saying they last forever and ever and ever. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of this with a brush, and then I'm going to tap off here on the side, again, just to make sure that one, we're not using too much at once, and two, it's evenly distributed onto your brush. And then I'm going to go in, and I'm going to start off where it's higher on the cheek. I usually like to come all the way back here, start off like somewhere in this area, like really blend it here and then bring it forward. But for this look, I want to kind of go where I have like the meatiest part of my cheek, of my upper cheek. You see, even that little amount that I grabbed, it's a little bit too much. So I'm just going over to the other cheek to start blending some there. I'm coming back here, and I'm gonna bring it up kind of to the brow bone. Like I said earlier, the placement of the blush is extremely important for this look. You want to put it where you normally get really, really rosy. So I'm gonna go ahead and just lightly dab a little bit more on the brush there, distribute it throughout, and then come back here. And then I don't know about you guys, but for me, when it's cold out, the first thing that's always cold, even when I'm indoors, is my nose. Like the tip of my nose gets super cold. So I didn't have enough blush left on the brush there, so I picked up a little tiny bit more, and I'm really gonna make sure I go around my palette here because I just need it at the tip of my nose and I wouldn't want to overdo it. But if we do overdo it, you can always go in with your foundation brush to tone it down. And then just a little bit on the chin there, and I'm just gonna go ahead and whatever little tiny bit is left on the brush here, just put it on the forehead. I don't really want my forehead to be too pink, but you get the gist, right? And just like this, I think it looks pretty. Like I said, this is a dewy finish blush, but it doesn't look super dewy. However, I still do want to go in with this Dior blush. It's the Backstage Rosy Glow. So pretty. I'm just very lightly gonna pick up a little bit of product and then go over the liquid blush. To the nose. Kind of whatever is left on the brush here now. Just kind of get these brow bones. Actually, before I forget, I did mention I wanted to use another powder. This one from Westman Atelier, I think is gonna be perfect for this look. It's the Vital Pressed Skincare Powder. It's the shade Pink Bubble. It adds a nice brightness to the under eyes. Quite lightly, it's not like a super stark brightness. Maybe if you pack it on, it can be, I'm not sure. But for me, the way that I use it, it's worked wonderfully. So I already went ahead and removed the makeup on my birthmarks. I don't like to have makeup over that. I just find that it looks weird. But I forgot I wanted to add a little bit of this just right here in the center. And it'll help mattify this area a little bit too and just make the skin look more seamless, just smooth. This is a really nice powder, like if you feel like you just need to do a little something extra to your face. This kind of does make all the difference. Now for the lips. I have this guy. I picked this up once randomly. I just saw the color and I thought, wow, that is so pretty. And I bought it not really sure when I was ever going to use this. These are colors that really draw me in, but not colors that I actually use very often. But I figured today's a good time to use it. So I'm just gonna grab a bit of this. You know what, I'll go ahead and use it on my palette here. I'm gonna put it down here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and use my finger, pick some of that up, and apply it on the center, like the inner center of my lips. And now using my Stellar Gloss from Dior, this shade is Princess 553. I think it's perfect for this look. Okay, and yeah, let me go ahead and go back into this topper, pick a little bit of that up. And then I started off at the Cupid's bow. And then adding the remaining of that product onto the actual lip, just on the center. And then you can bring it out just a little bit. Now with the clean finger, I'm just gonna lightly go over like that. Okay, I do feel like I might need a little bit more blush. I'm just gonna pick up the Dior one. Like right here. And then I'm gonna go ahead, whatever's left, get them ears. I think this came out so good. Very wearable. I'm very happy with the outcome. I see myself doing this quite a bit during the cold months. I think it's perfect. My skin looks healthy. I mean, I do look like I came in from the cold. It was a very easy to do. And I think it looks really, 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 really pretty. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is this a trend you see yourself following along? Because I recommend it. I really, really do. Obviously, you don't have to use any of the products that I used today. This was really just to give you an idea of what you can do. But if you are interested in any of what I applied onto my face today, I will have it all listed in the description box below. Those links, by the way, are affiliate links. I do get a small commission off of them if you decide to use them. I would very much appreciate it if you did, but if not, no worries. I'm just very happy to share this with you guys, and I very much appreciate you all taking time out of your day to watch my channel and support my content. So thank you very much. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, informative, just entertaining to watch, please make sure to give me a thumbs up. It really does help out my channel a ton, and I would very much appreciate that. Also, if you have not yet subscribed, do not forget to subscribe so you do not miss out on any of my future videos. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today. Until next time.